Polytechnics, we understand that just resumed. So why striking in April?
I'm happy that you have given us this opportunity for us to tell the public what actually is the situation of the ASUP national. In several occasions, the ASUP, the union itself, have been dialoguing with the government concerning mostly the welfare of union members. And the strike is actually anchored on the welfare of staff of members of the Federal Polytechnic that the government had felt in several occasions to pay attention to their needs.
Are you referring to the Federal Polytechnic Okana only?
No, the federal government have not held attention to the dialogue in which the union as a whole have been having with them. So the Federal Polytechnic Okana is just a chapter out of other chapters that make up the union.
So what are the welfare issues that the government has neglected or failed to pay attention to, warranting this position by ASUP, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics?
Just like what has just been highlighted in the media, from the last meeting that we held at Katsina State, in which the national president, Comrade Anderson Isibe, make the disclosure to the press concerning the labor issues between the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics and the government. At least 9 issues have been streamlined. One is that they need to release the 10 months in arrears of the new minimum wage owned its members in Federal Polytechnics, and the implementation in the same in several states yet to be implemented. So there are some states that have not agreed to support this gesture of implementing the new minimum wage to our union members in those areas. So another issue on board is the need of the union, or also is the content assessment report of 2014 of the public, Polytechnic, and other institutions, in which the union have also taken it to the government, and government have also agreed, and that report is yet to be implemented. So the union is canvassing that government should do the needful by implementing that need assessment report so that it can be taken into action. Another issue is also the reconstituting of the governing councils in all federal polytechnics and in some states-owned polytechnics where such is yet to be constituted. We are so much aware that the governing councils are the body that has been set up by the federal government or some state government to play a very vital roles, because they are like the owner of the institutions. Without the governing councils, most employments, especially the senior cadre, will not be employed, will not be done. Some capital projects will not be carried out. So there are so many things in which the governing councils need to play. So without them coming to do the needful, it means that those polytechnics activities will be slowed down, and most activities in the institution will not be done. So that's the reason why the union have come up that the federal government, because the last time the governing council's tenure got expired was as April 2020. So since that time up to now, federal Polytechnic doesn't have governing councils to regulate the activities of these institutions. Another issue to mention is also the released own staff salaries in some states chapters, like in Abia State, Ogun State, Osun State, Benue State, Plateau State, Edo State, and Kreva State, and the implementation of full salary payment in Sokoto, Kaduna, Adamawa, and other institutions that of such reports. So there are some states that staff salary have not been paid fully. There are some states that staff salary have completely not been paid at all. So that's the reason why the union come up with this issue that government should please do the needful to avoid our students going back home. You know what the students have passed through. after that almost a full one academic section. So it's not good for students to go back again at home and stay and deprive them of their educational endeavor.
No, interesting statements you just made. Not good for the students to go back home, given 2020 was wasted, COVID-19, and school just resumed. Now, why in April? Let's go to the General Secretary, Comrade Samuel. Do you need to go on a nationwide strike to achieve some of these conditions? Can't this be achieved while school is in session and you continue negotiation with the government?
Well, thank you very much. Just like my chairman has said, we discover government has neglected the Polytechnic. If you look at what the chairman, the national president declared, there has been culture of neglect by government on issues affecting the technological education subsector, which is the Polytechnic. When we bring up issues that need to move this nation forward, you see they don't pay prompt attention to this. And we look at it that the only way out to resolve this issue is to embark on strike. Because there was agreement on several, they've met with government to discuss issues on the way to move the Polytechnic forward, sector forward. But government neglected these areas. So the only options we have is for this strike, for us to embark on this strike so that they can listen to us. If you look at other issues, when you complain, when you lay all manner of things, government don't pay attention. But when you embark on strike, then they know it's affecting our children are also in the school. So we need to go on this strike. We know the lockdown 2020, COVID-19 took over the whole thing. But the needful need to be done. We're saying we cannot continue to remain in the same thing, do the same thing and expect a different result. As Polytechnic, as a nation, we want to move forward. We need to do something different if we want to get a different result. So if we don't put this thing in place, there have been infrastructural neglect, there have been a lot of things they don't do. So these key issues are what we need to do. Fine, we thank God for the issue of the Polytechnic Act. It has been implemented, but in some schools they neglect, just like the chairman mentioned, Ogun State, Sokoto, Niger State, and so many states. They don't pay prompt attention to this. So we cannot continue in this way. That is why we are calling on the government. These are issues you need to treat. Our staff, some schools have been paid arrears, the minimum wage arrears, while others have not been paid. You don't expect them. They go to the same market, they operate in the same society. So there is that thing when you don't motivate one. It's not all about money, but we need to motivate our people to put their best, to bring out the best in this country. Thank you very much.
All right, we will continue with the conversation here.
If I may add to that, I think strike is the only language I want to believe government understand very, very well. Because without mentioning strike to government, they will not pay attention to all the areas that have been negotiated, have been discussed about. Union is after negotiation. We are ready to negotiate. But government always listen to strike. So with this issue of strike coming on board, I bet you government will rise to attention.
Otrikong, you were aware of the strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the last one that lasted 9-10 months, and how that disrupted academic activities in the tertiary institution. Now the polytechnics are threatening also federal polytechnics to go on strike from April.
2485 Samuel Obama. All right, so let's come back now to the gentleman.